Hello, welcome to video number 20. This is Mr. Miller, and I hope you are my geometry students. We're starting a new unit, so congratulations, you made it through 2 units, and we're starting unit number 3. Things are starting to happen, and they're going to start moving very quickly these days. Okay, today we're going to start our unit on angles, and we're going to talk about adjacent angles and linear pairs. The first part are adjacent angles. So we should ask, what are adjacent angles? If things are adjacent, that means they're kind of next to each other. So adjacent angles are angles that have the same vertex and share a side. Also, they don't have any points on their insides in common. So take a look down here. These angles below, right here, those are not adjacent. They don't have the same vertex. Remember, the corner of the angle is called the vertex. They don't have the same vertex and they don't share the same side. However, these angles on my right, this is an example of adjacent angles. 3 and 4 are adjacent. They share the same vertex. They share a side here, this side right there. And if you locate a point on the inside of 3, it's not on the inside of 4. So their insides are kind of separate. That's called their interiors. So again, adjacent angles share a vertex, share a side, and they don't have any part of their interiors in common. They're next to each other, kind of like angles 3 and 4. So that's what adjacent angles are. All right, we're going to start looking right away at some problems you'll be asked with adjacent angles. Below is a figure. It has 2 angles marked with algebraic expressions, 3x minus 9 and x plus 10. And the question says, if x equals 35, find the measures of all the angles. Okay, well, first off, we have to review a little bit about angle notation. This little m means measure of angle CBD. Angle CBD is the angle you get by tracing out those points with your finger. CBD is this angle right here. It's the angle marked 3x minus 9. Okay, so if x equals 35, all we got to do is 3 times 35 minus 9. And that gives us the measure of CBD. So use my calculator here, and I get 96 degrees. It's a little bit bigger than a right angle. 96 degrees, so that's the first angle measurement. So all I had to do was substitute. Okay, it says find the measure of angle DBA. DBA is this other angle here. So remember, trace it out with your finger. DBA. Often angles are named with 3 letters or describing 3 points. All right, sometimes we can get away with 1 letter, but here we need 3. DBA. All right, it's x plus 10. Okay, so all I have to do is put in 35. 35 plus 10 is 45 degrees. Okay, so our second answer is 45 degrees. All right, the last one, CBA, that's the entire angle. It's what we get when we put the first angle together with the second one. And if angles are adjacent, we just add their measurements. All we have to do is add 96 and 45. So 96 degrees plus 45 degrees is, let me see, 101, 141. 141 degrees. That's the total angle measure if we put them together. Let's look at another example. Here we go. Similar problem. This time we have a few more angles. So suppose x equals 8. Find the angle measures. Okay, so it's a matter of just locating them. EFG. EFG is this angle. And it says its angle measure is 7 times x. So this is 7 times 8, which is 56 degrees. So the first one, 56 degrees. GFH, that would be the second angle here, the one in the middle. GFH. Okay, it says x plus 30. 8 plus 30 is 38. HFI, that's this last angle over here. I'm going to give it 3 markings. HFI says 5x plus 21, so it'd be 5 times 8 plus 21. So 5 times 8 is 40 plus 21 is 61 degrees. Okay, The last question, EFI. Again, that's the entire angle. We have three adjacent angles, and if we put them all together, we just add their measurements. So this is going to be 56 plus 38 plus 61 degrees, and whatever we get goes there. Let's see here. I get 155. Okay, adjacent angles, no problem. Here's a little bit different kind of question, and our last one for adjacent angles. This time they give me the measure of the entire angle. They would say measure angle, the measure of CBD. That's the entire thing. The entire angle equals 150. And they want to know what x is. So we got to think the measure of the entire angle is what you get when you add up the individual angles. So we have to add those, 3x minus 10 plus 2x plus 5 equals 150. Now here, there's no number to distribute, so really the parentheses aren't doing anything. We can just combine like terms. 3x plus 2x is 5x. Negative 10 plus 5 is minus 5 equals 150. And there's no problem to solve. We get 5x equals 155, or x equals, let's see here, 31. So in these angle problems, solving the equation is not going to be a problem for you guys. It's all about knowing how to set it up. That's the key. And that comes from the geometry fact. These two angles add up to the total 150. All right, let's move on to linear pairs. So here's our second angle topic. A linear pair is two adjacent angles that form a straight line. So if you look at these, here are three examples. Together, they form a straight line, which is 180 degrees. So this first one, whatever x is, x plus 61 has to equal 180, because together they make a straight angle that's 180 degrees. So we can just take 180 and subtract 61, and I believe you get 119. Same thing here. The total is 180. That's the geometry fact. So if we do 180 minus 98, we get that this angle is 82. And on the last one, it can be kind of oriented differently, but this fact is still true. All of this is 180 degrees. So to get 47, to get x, do 180 minus 47. And I get 133. Okay, so sometimes there's more than two angles, sometimes it's three angles. But if any combination of angles form a line, they have to add to 180 degrees. All right, this situation is going to arise a lot. We want to find all the missing angles here. But we just have to keep subtracting from 180 as we go around. So define measure of, or define A here, we gotta realize that these two form a straight line. So I'm just paying attention to this line right here, and those two together form a straight angle. So to find A, we just do 180 minus 51, and we get A here. A must be 129. So A equals 129. Now, to get B, angles A and B together form this straight line. So all we have to do is 180 minus 51, minus 129, because that's the measure of A. And we get, let me see, we get 51. And then these two down here form an angle. Let me record my answer here. So these two right here form a straight line. B and C have to add to 180 also. So 180 minus B, which was 51, equals 129. So C equals 129. Okay, so as we go around, we just keep subtracting from 180. A and 107, these two angles form a straight line. So 180 minus 107 is 73. this must be 73 degrees. And as we add these two, they must add to 180. So 180 minus 73 gives me the 107 again. You might remember that opposite angles are equal when lines cross this way. So we'll talk more about that next time. And these two form a line, B and C. So 180 minus 107 is 73. Okay, so we'll see a lot of those. There's one last type of problem and we'll be done. Okay, so in this sort of problem, we have two angles marked with algebraic expressions. We got to use our fact that they add to 180. The total measurement here is 180 because they form a straight angle. So we just add them, set them equal to 180. X plus 34 plus 2x plus 26 equals 180. So we combine like terms. X plus 2x is 3x. 34 plus 26 is 60 equals 180 degrees. So it's just knowing the geometric fact. These two total 180. After that, the equation's going to be easy. So 3x equals 120, or x equals 40. Sometimes you might be asked to go back and find the angles. If so, you just substitute this in for x. For instance, this angle here, 40 plus 34, this angle is 74 degrees. And the other angle over here, the 2x plus 26, would be 106. And together, they add up to 180. All right, let's do this one. Again, these angles form a line, so we just add them, set it equal to 180. Equals 180. All right, so 3x plus 8x is 11x. 4 plus 33 is 37 equals 180. All right, so if we subtract 37 from both sides, 11x equals 143, or x equals 13. I won't do it this time, but again, we could go back and figure out what the angles are. All right, hopefully this dude's happy. Put a little smile on his face. Okay, that looks really weird. I'll just leave that guy alone. It's time for our journal assignment. All right, so got two problems for you. The first one involves adjacent angles. Find the measures of the individual angles and add them up to find the total. On the second problem here, this is a linear pair. So these two angles total 180. Please copy the diagrams in your book and show your work on these problems. Good luck. See you in class.